I'm Dr. Carol Francis. You can reach me at drcarolfrancis.com or check out my phone number and contact me that as well, both in person and on Skype. So let's talk about public speaking. The fear of being able to stand up in front of a group of people stymies some people and totally exhilarates other individuals. Why is there a difference? Well, we tend to think that the difference may be related to personality. One of the components is being an extrovert versus an introvert. And of course, with all this research on being able to see the markers in DNA, we tend to think that we've actually found the DNA component that wires people to be introvert or extrovert. So in part, dealing with public speaking anxiety is about you being able to find out who you are on that particular list of things. Well, you can actually take some tests on Myers-Briggs if you don't already know and be able to see, well, how far am I an introvert? How far am I an extrovert? Or am I right in between, like an ambivert or a metrovert, or whatever they're calling it these days? Now, if you're an introvert, chances are you don't like to be in front of a group of people, but maybe one-on-one, and definitely would probably prefer to get to know the person first before you disclose, and perhaps you never disclose. You definitely like your cave, and you definitely like to be a hermit at times. In fact, you might really enjoy people, but then people might actually feel like they deplete your energies if you have to boost up your energy to hang out with people and then go and enjoy yourself, and then you want to go refuel and quiet. If you're an extrovert, you're coming to the world from a very different point of view. Extroverts tend to be fueled up by being around people. They tend to enjoy the energy and get more energy inside themselves when they're with other people. They like the affirmation, or they enjoy the fun, the laughter, the interaction, the giving and the taking. They're able to feel themselves in the presence of a lot of people, and actually when they're by themselves, that's when they feel like their energies are being depleted. They're going to feel more depressed when they're alone. Now, that isn't because they're insecure necessarily, because sometimes you can be insecure and use other people as a way of kind of boosting yourself up. But what I'm talking about here is that you actually have a personality trait where being alone doesn't fill you up with all that energy with people if you're an extrovert, and being alone fills you up with energy if you're an introvert. Well, these are stereotypes, aren't they? But nonetheless, they're helpful categories, especially when you're talking about public speaking. So if you have a profession where you tend to be more of an introvert, and you like being left alone to do your projects and get the job done, oof, aren't people around you glad you do? But at the same time, now suddenly you're stuck with having to be presenting information. There are certain ways you can do it. First, when you're by yourself and you're fueling yourself up, you want to imagine how important your project is. You want to fuel yourself with the passion and the enthusiasm about your project. And you want to be really aware that these people are there to be inspired, informed, and supportive of you and your passion. And you're there to stir that up inside of them. So when you're by yourself, you want to feel the importance of stirring it up inside of them, and that you're the vehicle to be able to do that. One of several, perhaps, but you want to do your part. So in other words, you're getting excited about your own passionate process. Number two, one thing I found very important is that you recognize that your anxiety about being in front of people is the same anxiety that introverts get as well. I know you don't believe me on this one, but trust me. I've been teaching about public speaking for over 40 years. 40 years of experience with us. So what happens is that everybody has anxiety before they're going to go up. Am I going to do well? Are they going to like what I'm going to say? Am I well prepared? Is everything going to go well? What am I going to do with those mishaps that occur, which always do? So, you know, everybody is like, performance anxiety. So here's the difference. A lot of people deal with their performance anxiety by using it as an adrenaline that charges them into being as well prepared, as excited, enthusiastic, as energetic as they can be. Other individuals use anxiety in a way that makes them feel self-compromised, self-doubting. In other words, they believe that their anxiety is a sign that they will do badly. They actually believe anxiety is a sign that they're going to blow it, as if it's a bad omen. So those individuals think it's a bad omen, pretty sure that other people that are confident out there don't go through the anxiety phase, but they do. That anxiety moment can be converted into you saying, oh wow, I'm anxious. So make sure that anxiety has driven before you get up to speak to being really prepared. Practice, 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 so that you're actually doing it in your dreams almost. You can do it in your sleep. Put back your hand. Why? That builds your confidence, number one. Number two, the part of the speech to mostly practice is the beginning. You want the beginning to develop a rapport between you and the audience so that you feel comfortable with your audience. And so your audience is going, oh, okay, this person knows what they're doing, and they will actually relax and be more receptive to the rest of what you're saying. Even if the rest of what you're saying is somewhat boring, they'll actually relax about that because you won them over in the first few moments. The third reason why you focus on that polished beginning is because if you're nervous, your brain will become amnesiac. Like, I don't remember the words. Who am I? What's my name? That's just what happens. So what you do is you have that beginning so well polished. You have those first few words that kick your brain back into the presentation mode that you have practiced so much. So that if you go through that moment of, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm going to say, you look at those first few words and you flash back into the process. First few words, let's say the first minute. You're taking the first, I'd say 5% in your presentation and knowing it so well and making it have the animation, the attitude, and the winning over your audience the best you can. Third, don't be afraid to practice in front of people. Create your audience. Use a camera. Get familiar with what you're like when you like the way you come across and when you don't like the way you come across. Become familiar, become a master and a tool and professional about the way you present yourself. That builds your confidence as well as it makes you a better presenter. Well, these are just some ideas about becoming less anxious when you're a public speaker. Hypnosis, self-hypnosis is a wonderful tool. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, also very good. Being able to train your brain waves through brain entrainment can be very helpful as well because you begin to understand what it means to impact your body chemistry and your brain process in order to be able to steady yourself in those moments. However, steadying yourself in those anxious moments does not mean not being anxious. It means being able to move that anxiety into the butterflies and energy and the drama of the first few moments that gets everybody at ease because you know what you're doing, you're human, and this is going to be an interesting presentation. Well, it may seem easier than it is, but on some levels, it is pretty easy. Well, contact me if you want to work more with your public speaking anxiety. It's a real thing. It has a lot to do with your professional progression. And once you master that, you can communicate your idea and get your passions across and get them financed as well a whole lot easier. This is Dr. Carol Francis. Have a great day.